folks, Coventry City outright leaders over in the Championship, with Middlesbrough occupying the second promotion spot out in the Championship, but who of course will take full advantage in this week, double match week. We're going to take a look at the latest round of games and they're coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today it is match number 11 over in the Championship, and of course we've got an absolute stacked out agenda of games just around the corner. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in a second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe. You want subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Championship football, world football. We're going to all here under one roof. That is right. Rovers are in action as well. They're in the drop zone, but can of course we make amends for the start of the season so far. We'll look at all that in more in just a second. Big shout out to the members. Big shout out to the Patreons. You know who you are. And can I get a awesome cheeky little like of 50 likes? I know we haven't got much time. We've got barely 24 hours, but hopefully you guys can do it in your numbers. That's right. So let's recap what went down last time around in the Championship. That's right, folks. Recapping the results that went down last time around, and these were those. Coming into this, my predictions from the weekend's action look like this. Situation in the table, as you see, is Coventry City leading the charge. Middlesbrough are in second, with Stoke, Leicester, West Brom and Millwall in the playoffs. At the moment, going down, it's the Sheffield sides and Blackburn Rovers, but that could all change this weekend with the likes of Wrexham, Oxford, Norwich and Derby, all within striking distance of getting into those drop zones. That's right, but we're going to move forward. And a quick reminder, though, before that, of the Championship Prediction League. It is there on the screen, but of course, we're looking forward to these games. That's right, they're coming at you starting tomorrow. Goodness gracious me, and we start, what better place to go than the delightful Ewood Park. So let's get into it then, shall we, as Rovers take on Sheffield United at Ewood for what will be the 19th time since 1993. Just 5 wins for Rovers, 9 wins for Sheffield United, 4 draws between the two sides. Blackburn Rovers coming into 22nd spot with just 7 points, winless in the last 4, just 1 win in the last 6. As for Sheffield United, 2 wins in the last 6. They've got a little bit of form together, but they do sit 23rd at the moment. Now, the last time that these two sides played at Ewood, it was a 2-0 win for Sheffield United way back in November 2024. Rovers have only won once in the last 6 against them, and they're coming into this on the back of that 2-0 loss to Coventry City. As for Sheffield United, they did pick up a cheeky 1-0 win over Watford, and a quick look at the bookies' odds for this one. No Bob here today, it's too quick for him. Rovers are actually slight favoured for the victory, but I don't know what that's all about. I'm going to go with Rovers to snatch it. They need something, and they need something fast. It'll be an absolutely tremendous result if we can get it. I just don't know if we will. I'm going to go for the 1-0 win. More hope than anything else. Let's go to the next match, which is at Derby, as the Rams take on Norwich. Of course, 2 under pressure clubs, 2 under pressure managers right now. So at Pride Park, John Eustace's Derby are 21st with 8 points. Winless in the last 5. Up against the Norwich City side, also struggling. They're to 20th right now, but they're winless in at least the last 6. They've taken on each other 26 times since 1996. 10 wins apiece and 6 draws, including a draw when they last played at Carrow Road way back in February 2025. The last time I played at this venue, it was a 3-2 win for Norwich. Goodness gracious me. And looking at the records, you've got to go way back to 2017 for Norwich's, or the last time a home side won this match. It's been away days pretty much for the last handful of matches. Coming into this, though, Derby are on the back of a 1-0 loss away to Oxford. As for Norwich, also losing at home to Bristol City. Goodness gracious me. The odds for this one, Derby are favoured for this one at their own backyard. Liam Manning under pressure, of course. I'm going with the away side here. I'm going with the Canaries, 2-1 win. They've got the talent. They're better away from home than they are at home, I think. So we'll see about that. Let's go to Hull City now, taking on a Leicester City at the MKM Stadium. Hull City, Sergei Jakurovic, they sit 10th right now, 15 points for them, just a 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Leicester under Marti Kofientis, they're also unbeaten in the last 6, but they've drawn 5 of the last 6. They do sit 4th with 17 points, and they've taken on Hull 20 times since 2005. There's been 7 wins Hull, 8 wins Leicester, 5 draws between the two sides. But they last played at this venue back in March 2024. It was a 2-2 draw. Goodness gracious. That's back in the Championship. Hull are on the back of that impressive 3-2 away win at St Andrews, beating Birmingham City. Leicester could only draw against Portsmouth. The odds for this one, Leicester fancied for the victory here. Hull not so much, but I think I've got to give Hull some credit here. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. They got goals in them. They're actually doing better than expected, and at the moment there could be an outside sniff for those playoff spots. Goodness gracious. Let's go to Ipswich Town as they take on Charlton. That's right, over at Portman Road. Ipswich under Kieran Menakena. They sit 12th right now, which is a 13 points, just one defeat in the last 6. Because Charlton under Nathan Jones also one defeat in the last 6. They sit 9th with 15 points. They've taken on Ipswich 35 times since 1995. Got 15 wins for the hosts, 13 wins for the visitors, and there's been 7 draws. They last played competitively at this venue. It was a 6-0 win for Ipswich back in April 2023. That was in League One a couple seasons back. The track the boys are on the back of a 2-1 loss to Middlesbrough. That was away. When they last played at home, though, Ipswich coming out on top with that impressive 3-1 win over their nearest and dearest Norwich in the East Anglian derby. Charlton, though, on the back of that 2-1 win over Wednesday, their last away match was a 2-0 loss to Preston. The bookies for this one will back Ipswich, as will I. Going to go with a 3-0 win. Impressive one to push them up the table once again. Let's go to Millwall then as they take on Stoke in the Gary Rowett derby. Didn't he manage Stoke? I think he did. It's coming at you at the Den. You could also say it's the Alex Neil derby if we flip it around that way. Anyway, they come at you at the Den. They played 29 times since 1993. 11 wins for Millwall. 10 wins for Stoke. There's been 8 draws between the two sides. Millwall are 6th right now. They're flying. 17 points for them. Just the one defeat in the last 5. Up against the Stoke side under Mark Robbins, they sit 3rd. 18 points. Just one defeat in the last 6. Now, they have played 29 times since 1993. 11 wins for Millwall. 10 wins for Stoke. There's been 8 draws between these two. Coming into this, they last played at the Den. It was a 1-0 win for Millwall, who are unbeaten against Stoke over the last 6. They picked up 4 wins and 2 draws. In fact, the last 5 matches, the last 6, Millwall have only conceded just the 1 goal against Stoke. That was back in November 2024 at this very venue, of course. And that is the last match they played at this venue. Scrap that, delete all of that. So, of course, the last match they played at this venue was a 1-0 win for Millwall back in March 2025. The Lions are on the back of that 2-1 win over QPR, big away win, all London affair. Stoke on the back of that 1-0 win over Wrexham. The bookies will back Millwall for this one. I'm also going to go with the hosts here. 2-1 winners. Millwall could actually be a threat here this season. With the amount of games they're winning at the moment. Let's go to Fratton Park as Portsmouth take on Coventry City. That's right, John Massinio's Portsmouth doing all right, aren't they? 14th for the table, 13 points for the campaign. Unbeaten now the last 3, but just 1 win in the last 6. But they are picking up good draws along the way. Up against the Coventry City side who've won 4 in the bounce. They're unbeaten, I think, all season long. Top of the table right now, and 22 points for the campaign. Now, they have played 20 times, these two clubs, since 2001. 8 wins for Pompey, 8 wins for Coventry, and there's been 4 draws between these two sides. They last played over at Fratton Park. It was a 4-1 win for Portsmouth back in December 2024. That's right. Coming into this, the hosts, Pompey are on the back of that 1-1 scoreline away to Leicester. Coventry with that 2-0 home win against Blackburn Rovers. Again, 4 wins on the bounce. They've got 5 clean sheets on the bounce. They're doing everything right at the moment, are Coventry. And the bookies see that. They're going with them. I'm actually going to go with a draw here. I think Portsmouth at home, tricky unit, go under the radar a little bit at home. So I think they'll get a point off Coventry and boost their chances at the top end, or to boost them up the table. Let's go to Preston now as they take on Birmingham City. Come at Deepdale. Paul Heckenbottom's Preston are 8th with 16 points for them. Just a 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Birmingham under Chris Davies, they're 17th right now. Winless in the last 4. Just 1 win in the last 6. They're dropping like a stone right now, which is 12 points. 29 times they're played since 2000. 15 wins for Preston, 8 wins for Birmingham, and we got 6 draws. Coming into this, they last played these two sides at Preston. 2-1 winners it was at Deepdale back in September 2023. The Nobbers are on the back of a 2-1 loss to West Brom. Birmingham losing at home to Hull. Their last win was at home. It was against Swansea a while back now, 20th of September. The bookies will go with Preston. In fact, scrap that. The bookies will go with Birmingham. Wow. I didn't think they would do that, but I'm going to go with the hosts. I think Preston will win this game. 2-1 winners at home. No problem for the Nobbers on that. Let's go to Bristol City as they take on Southampton. Coming at Ashton Gate. Gerhard Struber's Bristol City are 7th with 16 points. They've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 2 over the last 6 up against the Southampton side. And they will still 15th for the table, 12 points of the campaign. They're unbeaten in the last 4 matches, but they've only won once in the last 6. They have played Bristol City 12 times since 2003. 6 wins for Bristol City, 4 wins for Southampton. There's been 2 draws between these two sides. They last played at this venue. 3-1 win as it was for Bristol City back in February 2024. Looking at it, Bristol City unbeaten against Southampton at home in the last 3. Bookies for this, we'll get to the bookies here shortly. Bristol City on the back of that 1-0 away win to Norwich. Southampton back-to-back draws for them, as they picked up draws against Swansea most recently and Derby on the road last time around. The bookies' odds for this one quite tight between them. They look like they favour the draw. I'm going to go with the hosts to lose this one. Southampton getting a cheeky away win against the runner play. Into Wednesday's games now. We go Swansea up against QPR over in Wales. Swansea under Alan Sheeran are 13th right now, 13 points for them, 50% form at the moment. That's 1-2, lost to and drawn to. Up against the QPR side under Julian Stefan, they sit 11th, 15 points for them, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They played 28 times, these two clubs, since 2004. 10 wins Swansea, 9 wins QPR. There's been 9 draws between the two sides. They last played over at Wales. It was a 3-0 win for Swansea back in December 2024. Swansea did the double over QPR last season. They're coming into this though on the back of a draw on the road against Southampton. QPR though losing at home last time around. 2-1 win for Millwall. As for QPR though, their last away match was a 2-1 away win against Bristol City. The bookies will find Swansea favoured for this one. I think I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I think it's quite tight. Two sides, not too sure if they're good or bad at the moment. But I'm going to go for a point apiece in the end. Also on Wednesday the 22nd of October is Watford against West Brom at the Battle of the W's over at Vicarage Road. Watford under Javier Garcia are 15th right now, 12 points for them. Just the one loss in the last 4. Up against the West Brom side under Ryan Mason, also 1 defeat in the last 4. West Brom though sit 5th with 17 points, Watford 15th with 12. They played 32 times since 1993. 8 wins Watford, 12 wins West Brom. There's been 12 draws between these two sides. They last played over at Vicarage Road. 2-1 win as it was for the Hornets back in December 2024. Watford though on the back of that 1-0 loss to Sheffield United. West Brom picking up a 2-1 win over Preston. The bookies' odds for this though, they back West Brom but only just. It is airtight. It could even be a draw. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win though for Watford to get themselves a first win under Javier Garcia in his second stint as manager. Let's go to Wrexham then, back over to Wales as they take on Oxford at the racecourse. Wrexham under Phil Parkinson sit 18th right now, 10 points for them, a winless though in the last 4, but you can look at it a different way, just the 1 defeat in the last 6 for Wrexham. As for Oxford, they're under Gary Rowett. They are 19th with 9 points. They've on 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn 2 heading into this. They played each other 8 times in 2003. 3 wins Wrexham, 4 wins Oxford. There's been 1 draw. They last played in Wales, 2-1 win as it was for Oxford back in December 2013. It's been that long, guys. It's been that long. Oxford are actually unbeaten against Wrexham over the last 4, picking up 4 wins on the bounce. But they haven't played in EFL action since 2006. It was a 1-1 scoreline at the racecourse ground when these sides were in League 2. Wrexham on the back of that 1-0 loss to Stoke. Oxford on that cheeky 1-0 win over Derby County. The bookies will back Wrexham on this one. I think I've got to go with Wrexham here. 2-0 winners, get back to winning ways, and again, pressure will release a little bit under Phil Parkinson. And then finally we go to top versus bottom, or pretty much as you can get top versus bottom. Sheffield Wednesday up against Middlesbrough, Coventry at Hillsborough. Henrik Pedersen's Wednesday are 24th right now with 6 points for the campaign, up against Borough, who are second with 21 points. That's right, coming into this on 58% form. Borough just losing them once in the last 6. Sheffield Wednesday just winning once of the last 6. They played 32 times since 1995, these two clubs. 11 wins for Wednesday, 17 wins for Borough. There's been 4 draws. They last played over at Hillsborough. It was a 2-1 win for the Owls back in April 2025. Wednesday are actually pretty solid record against Middlesbrough. Actually, looking at it, they've won 2, lost 2 and drawn 2 over the last 6 in different venues. But Wednesday are on the back of that 2-1 loss to Charlton. Middlesbrough on the back of that 2-1 win at Ipswich. Borough massively fancy for the victory on this one. I think I've got to go with Borough as well, unfortunately, for Owls. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win, Middlesbrough, to take the 2 points. And, of course, with that win, it would see this happen to the table. That's right. It will be Middlesbrough back tip at the top of the table, Coventry in second, Millwall all the way up into third, Preston, Stoke, and then Hull going down. It is Wednesday. It's Sheffield United. It's Derby. And, of course, my beloved Rovers squeaking out of those playoff spots for the time of asking. But that is that. Be sure, of course, to get your predictions in as well. And also, do us a favour and subscribe. Your non-stop shop for content for EFLs right here. And of course, remember that 50 like target. That's all on you guys. I believe in you. Make sure you do it. Until then, I'll see you soon when we return. But we are done.